Let me know when we're rolling. Okay. Audio's on. Clap.
That's a nice tempo though. Oh, you guys did.
Yes. Yeah. That's cool.
I have known this person for 17 years, and it's a pleasure to have them here now. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bud Rokesky, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
You've always been like a bit of a what's the word?
Bridge.
Not a like the unicorn of the musical family. I think I came to know you, even though I would only have brief interactions with you, but they were always like really funny, and I knew that everyone had such great respect for what you did. And I don't think I heard you play properly until maybe Woodford or something, or I was just blown away, and I totally understood why everyone, I think, revered you in this really special kind of loving way. I think when we started the RBO, you were one of our first thoughts of like, we have to make a record with Bud.
Basically, at the core of it all is that, like, you know, we've always believed that your songwriting, you know, it feels like it comes from another time, or you could, compare it to that of, you know, 1960s, 1970s kind of songwriting. Is it a mixture of a bunch of things that kind of draw someone into, like, creating music on that level?
Did you always sing like that? Maybe that's the first question.
No. I guess, like, typical start off in choirs and stuff, and then was exposed to that type of music amongst all the other stuff I was listening to, normal stuff. Mum had an extensive musical catalogue, and Dad too, actually. But just being in the choirs as a little kid and then feeling them, you know, you're surrounded by all those tones, and wanted to capture that and feel it every time I sang. You know, want to tell stories. I think the way that I sing maybe has some of the character behind it that can get a story across.
Who are the big ones for you? Your inspirations for storytellers that got you on that train?
To be perfectly honest, not musical, just people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Having heaps of jobs since I left school, just because music was always the thing. First job after school, I think, was I moved down to Melbourne after living on the sunny coast for a while, and found a job at a nursery that had
good job.
It was just
Plants.
greenhouses, heaps and heaps of greenhouses of, like, pretty much only chrysanthemums. And then the people you're working with are the biggest contrast. You know, you got some ex-cons, you know, some real friendly older types. Met all them interesting characters.
Was there music on at the nursery? Was it just
maybe
a cool
Nova?
band?
I think it was just like Nova in some shed somewhere, and if you were near the shed, you could hear it. And I think it was it Snow Patrol? Maybe, I don't know.
That could be right.
I can't remember.
Right.
There was one song, but I don't know what it is. But they played it all the time, and that's what I remember from that.
I need to interject here because we worked in a brewery together, and that was one of the best jobs ever.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Free beer.
Is a highlight. What's the highlight job, or not including getting to play music?
Yeah.
I think the brewery has to be up there.
Yeah.
That would be a good vibe.
It was a great vibe.
Yeah, we had some neighbours across the road, these crusty punks that lived in the Ascot Furniture or Ascot Teak or something, I can't remember what it's called, and they used to build the furniture, and after hours we'd shut the brewery down and put 6 different flavoured kegs on the taps and then get them to come over. They'd bring spaghetti, but they didn't have any pots or anything. They'd just bring it in a bag of spaghetti.
That's awesome.
Just tip it onto these plates. And we would just get smashed on 6. Yeah, it was interestingly good. All the experiences were basically Al was there with me, I was there with Al. All of those jobs that I've had since school, every time I did one, I was like, well, I like this, but I don't like this. Next job. There's more of this, don't like this. Next job. I like more of that. Ooh, that was bad. which was basically just having room to think about music all the time while earning enough for the family, you know. And it, you know, washing cars, seeing trucks go by, someone says, oh, you know, they're on this kind of money. I think, damn, they're aircon, music all day.
Yeah.
I'm going to head to that direction, I think. You know? So work hard, get the licenses, cold call, non-stop. You know, back when I got my first jobs, driving was, nah, mate, you got to have 5 years experience for the insurance. Whereas now there's a shortage of drivers, they'll take anyone. So
Yeah.
I had to work hard, you know, call up, hey, give me a chance. Someone did, led to one thing, led to another. Here I am now driving, just moving up to the biggest truck that, you know, I could, while staying pretty local and seeing the kids, you know. I'm in the A-double, which means that you're doing one big load. You're not jumping around, jumping out, jumping in, jumping out, which means I get 45 minutes of a full album, start to finish, every trip, every drive, on autopilot, just listen to the album, just, whatever I want, just listen and also write.
I think it's like led to some of the best music, you know, that you've written anyway, recently. So I guess that's a plus side of it.
Yeah. It's forced alone time to just dream.
Yeah, it's sort of voyeurism too. It's sort of watching from your little bubble all the time, just the world go by.
Yeah. I think, you know, our affinity for that old style of music is like what's brought us actually into the studio to make this record the right way. You know, like, just Matt, like, obviously when we first started this, we have Rowan Jones in the band and Michael Hayden and Harry, who was all essentially Matt's band.
But dear friends.
Yeah, and for the right reasons, you know. I think like every single one of those people has like a real affinity for traditional styles of making music and doing it properly.
I think we've taken a really refined approach to it. We haven't gone over the top instrumentally. I think we just want your songs to be your songs.
I think also because we are all friends, we obviously all have a pretty similar like history or whatever elements that led us all into becoming friends and being comfortable with each other. So the fact that it's basically just friends doing this means that it's gonna be done at the right place, you know, and that it's how we want it.
I don't know even like why like it feels important to talk about this sort of stuff now, but like I guess, you know, in some ways there is people out there who make music this way, but I think you know, it's rarer now.
I think it cuts through less as well. I think people's ears are trained to listen to probably things that are a bit more robotical, and when they hear things with swing and real dynamics and stuff, it might freak them out slightly, and it's harder for them to get into the song quickly.
Unless you're like us, like, you know, I'll not hear any of the robotic stuff unless, you know, people are jumping and it's a really good energy, and you're like, well, that's awesome that person can make all these people feel amazing. I'll pay attention to that. But if William Prince comes on and you hear his voice and the type of song that he's singing or something, you just, you know, that's when I double take and turn that one up.
Well, I think it's like we can all love the, you know, I love that we're using the term robotic to explain kind of dance music or whatever, but popular music, but you can enjoy both. I just think the important thing is that we don't forget how to enjoy, you know, where music came from and that style of making music in the modern age, I guess.
Well, he came out from North Carolina smoking cowboy killers in an 8-second game. He told his father he was gonna be a bull rider, and that's all he's ever wanted. And it is what it is. His pa told him, son, to play the game. you take the pain. Well, 1,800-pound Goliath's writhing underneath like a hurricane tide. He takes the rankest rough stalk in his stride. It got him young in his blood and dragged his ass all through the dust. He'd long since been a man by the time he took some money in his hand. To bear down, stay on, you know you can get all kinds of hung up on this life. When you're tied in and holding on that rope too tight, just shoot from the hip and stare it straight down the eye. In the end, we're all born for the ride. Well, now he's world champion 2 times over. Golden glory you can't ever steal away. But he gets restless, kinda wants to show 'em, and best to burn and fade away, and live to ride another day. Knows his greatest prize is the wonder he sees in all their eyes. So bear down, stay on, you know you can get all kinds of hung up on this life. When you're tied in and holding on that rope too tight, just shoot from the hip and stare it straight down the eye. In the end, we are all born to ride out that gate. Check your line, seize a day and never die. When you love all you do, then a quitting man's a fool. So bear down, keep cool, you know you can get all kinds of hung up on this life. When you're tied in and holding on that rope too tight, just shoot from the hip and stare it straight down the eye. In the end, we are all born for the ride.
Again.
That was sick.